All right, we're here in my building. This is a bike I picked up last winter. It's a 59 FLH. We believe this was raced in the Jack Pine. Probably was. It was from Burlington, Wisconsin. Pretty cool bike overall. So it's absolutely freezing cold here right now. My goal is basically just to pull this thing out. I haven't done anything to it except drop that Speedo in. And what a good time it is, being 20 degrees outside with snow. Get this thing fired up. It hasn't run in a very, very long time. This is exactly as it was sitting. And we're gonna get it going, ride it in the snow. Hopefully it'll run. It kicks over. Super cool, unique bike. I would never change this. So we're gonna put a battery in it. We're gonna do some work on it. See what we can do. See if we can get it going. It's a really, really cool bike. I'm really fortunate to have been in the position to be able to pick this up. It was a really crazy trip. We'll talk a little bit more about that down the line. But that's it. Oh, God. Initial inspection, this thing up on the lift, everything looks good. You can see how hammered the frame is. Absolutely. I love that. These guys were just racing it. Cracked the frame because it had the sidecar. They're just riding so hard. Weld it back together. I think the engine and the cases are good, but there is a spot on the transmission. You can see it in there. That transmission's been completely blown apart. You know what? If it works, that stuff doesn't bother me because it's like part of the history of this machine. And like I said, this thing is not getting changed at all. This is like exactly what I personally look for, stuff that has a real history. You can see the points right here. This was a kill switch. So a guy would put a little piece of paper to a string attached to his shirt or his jacket. If they crashed the bike, it would pull the piece of paper out. The points would connect, and then the bike would die. So if the guy fell off the bike and they were on the ice or something, the bike wouldn't just ride away. So we're gonna hit the parts stash. We're gonna see what this needs. I don't think it needs too much. I'm gonna redo the rear brake, put new tubes in it. Maybe put a Speedo cable in it if we really want to spruce it up. See what we can do. All right. Not bad. Let's see if we can get this off. Still cannot get this off. All right, so the rear brake, I've been messing with it all day. The first part of this bike was nothing, and then as soon as I started messing with the rear drum, it was pretty much junk. So we're gonna look for a new drum or use our crappy drum until we find one. We'll see. We're just kind of rolling with what we got here. It's not a bike that we're going on cross country on, going down the highway. We're just gonna have fun on this thing, so it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. We're gonna see how far we can get today. I'd like to get the brake plate off today, and I'd like to get the front wheel sorted and the rear, I think I need a new tube in the rear, and just see how far we can get. We're not starting it today, obviously, but we're gonna try to start it ASAP. And I honestly don't think we're that far from this point. I think it was put away obviously rough, but I don't think we're that far from jamming on this thing around the farm. So let's see how far we can get, see what we can do. This was a pretty crazy deal. I found it on the internet. I basically just found photos of the bike. And the guy I got it from, this really cool dude named Ron. He's a really good guy. I found the bike, found his contact, called him up, and we made a deal on the bike on the spot. And it was located in Burlington, Wisconsin. So the guy was super cool, and I said, I'm gonna buy it, I'll do the deal. I didn't negotiate with him at all. I paid his asking price for the bike. And I said, I'm down to do it, but you live in Burlington, Wisconsin, and I'm in Western Massachusetts, so I can leave tomorrow, but it's gonna take me 2 days to get there. And he was totally cool with that. Drove basically straight there and paid him for the bike, loaded up, good deal. And he bought it from the original owner, or the original family, and I think the guy had already passed away. The guy also had a WR that is owned by Eric Bass now, and it was pretty cool. Eric had some old photos of this thing on the ice, and you know, we think it probably was in the Jack Pine, considering the location. Would be weird if it wasn't. But we're gonna do some more digging on the history and everything. I'm gonna see if I can actually confirm that it was. And we're gonna get this thing going, mess around with it. It would be awesome to do Jack Pine again on this bike, or do some sort of enduro or something like that. Obviously, we have a long ways to go, but I would love to do something. That would be awesome. I never do that kind of stuff. Hub's okay. Hub is actually nice. Got a crazy offset, but I've seen much worse. All right, this is where we're at right now. We put like 6 hours, 7 hours into this thing today, and it feels like I barely got anywhere, but we know what we need now. The rear brake stuff on this bike is shot. The front brake plate is seized on. We're gonna soak this one for a couple days and try it again, and you know, we have a pretty good idea. I thought I could get a lot further, but that's okay. We're still wrenching on it. You kind of have to just go with the flow with these things. You know, I want to be riding this thing, jamming on this thing pretty soon, and I don't think that's unrealistic for this bike. So now we know exactly what we need. For this, I'm pretty happy how far we got, and we're gonna see what we can do for next week. I think that it's gonna be realistic for it at least to be trying to kick or really see where we are. I would love to get it started up, and I don't think that's crazy. So that's going to be my goal, and I'm going to work on this a bunch over the next week. So we'll see. Stay tuned.